Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you about the three marine wonders that occur in these coastal waters. And certainly, Durban plays host to one of the most amazing faunal phenomena known to man, and that's the sardine run. Annually, we have a caravan of predators and sardines making their way up the coast, and this amounts to thousands of sharks, thousands of dolphins, over 100,000 gannets alone, among a number of over 150,000 seabirds. This event has captured the imagination of the world, and it certainly is still one of the top faunal events on the planet. It is under threat, however. We've had massive overfishing on the west coast, and a fleet of over 80 boats moved east and have started fishing the sardines in a very unsustainable manner. They're dumping nearly 70% of what they catch because it doesn't make the standard for grade because they're too small. The tragedy with this is it's put a lot of pressure on the environment, and in recent times I've had the sad opportunity to witness, in this case, a giant petrel drowning a gannet after it dived to over 30 meters to collect a sardine. The giant petrel flipped it over after drowning it, opened up the stomach, and took out the lone sardine. The reality is with sardines, though, they live for 5 years, so there's a good chance that with some management it'll return to its former glory. Our second marine wonder is Shark Park. This is the Yellowwall Shoal, just south of Durban, and is certainly one of the most amazing bus stops in the world's marine environment. We have, on any day, a number of shark species, diversity of fish that numbers well over 1,200. In this case, no photo shark. We had a whale shark, a tiger shark, a blacktip shark making its way out, and below this was actually a bull shark. So it really is an amazing place, and it has provided us with many hours of exciting interactions with big, charismatic marine megafauna. None the least of which are the tiger sharks, which I've been researching and working with scientists on for the last 15 years. They've allowed us a very unique insight into their behavior. It was a world first at the time. There are 2 other places in the world that have now followed us in terms of a tourist experience, but these girls have given me many, many hours of pleasure. And there's no doubt that if you want peace on earth, you need to let the woman rule. The sharks have been great scientific subjects. Here we put cameras on them and followed their movements when we could not be there. And of course, being human and needing to breathe, it's really difficult to gain any more insight into these animals than technology can give us. The sharks, being the stars, have attracted in their own right the terrestrial stars. In 2009 we hosted the Springboks for a secret team build, and they dived with our sharks. The Hoff lent his name to our shark cause many years ago, just in the name of marine science. A totally new breed of star has arrived on our shores, and these are the world's top free divers. These guys and girls have breath hold capability in excess of 9 minutes, and most of them have records in excess of 100 meters, and Pierre Farrar, who's in this picture, down to 170 meters. So slowly we're able to work with these animals, and these guys are able to spend extended periods in the water with them, interacting with them without noise, which scuba is, of course, a major drawback. So this week we've started doing a tagging project where these free divers are helping us with the other stars of Shark Park, which are the blacktip sharks that arrived 7 years ago, again about 60 females, and we're just starting to learn their kinship structures. So this genetic program will tell us who's related to whom. They seem far too friendly to be enemies, and as we understand it now, sharks work together and make friends. This is going to teach us that for the very first time. The third wonder is my daughter Ella and her relationships with the sharks, and I think this is true of any child these days. This has become her kind of normal. At the age of 3, Ella was swimming with whale sharks. She was barely much bigger than the plankton that these giant fish feed on, and on days when they were feeding, it certainly provided a management issue to make sure she didn't get too close to the front end of a 1 meter wide mouth, swallowing copious amounts of water and plankton. On top of this, at the age of 5, Ella jumped in the water of her own accord with the tigers and blacktip sharks. No consternation with Mom, I must say. It wasn't many cold meals for weeks after that. But at the age of 9, she appeared in the National Geographic Kids magazine for her work with sharks. And I think it was a great accolade to the opportunity for kids to take things into their own hands and move forward. Really, she's had an amazing opportunity. It's an incredible experience, and she's been able to take it forward among her peers, including them in the programs that we have with the sharks, which I have seen as a huge benefit. I thought she was too young. She proved me wrong. Ella, of course, has also seen what fear and misunderstanding can achieve with regard to sharks, and I'm hoping that her generation might change this. So it certainly is a huge challenge for her, and it's something that I think we can all support, is looking after the wonder and making sure we minimize our impact with these animals. In my case, it's not all been in the water and underwater. I had the great privilege of joining 5 of Durban's sons on an amazing trip around our coast from Cozy Bay in the east to the Orange River in the west, where we raised funds and awareness for cancer. And in my case, I took water samples every 50 kilometers along the route, mainly because I was a lot older than the rest of the guys and needed the break. And this in itself is subject of a about to be published scientific paper, which will give us a great line in the sand on the health of our coastal waters. Ladies and gentlemen, from my side, thank you very much. This has been a great privilege and an amazing experience, and thanks to everyone for coming out, and the organisers are absolutely blown away. And thank you for giving Sharks a chance.